Hello everyone, Tor here. I want to preface this video by saying that I'm a huge fan of the Drunken Peasants, as most people who watch me already know. I love the show and I love the Peasants, so this isn't a hate video, this is just one of the few times I vehemently disagree with them. So on episode 308, they watched a video from Cult of Dusty. Real quick. I originally liked Dusty, then utterly despised him during his little AIU phase, but started liking him again when he became the only big voice in the skeptic community to point out the cancerous problem that has been infecting it lately. And that problem is that it started coddling Trump and the alt-right because hating on the left became trendy and popular, and therefore profitable. So all these so-called skeptics threw logic and reason out the window in order to appease their right-leaning fan base by putting the left under a microscope and attacking every little trivial fucking detail while sweeping what the right has been doing under the rug. That's the problem. And as you'll see, DP just doesn't seem to grasp that. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm just going to play the clips I have issues with.
I was just gonna say, like, what he's saying doesn't make any sense. Like, he's talking about like how we're over focusing on SJWs. Why can't we focus on both?
So right off the bat, Paul says something I agree with. We should talk about both. That's what they do, and that's what I do. And just to clarify, when I talk about how the skeptic community sweeps the right under the rug and only talks about the left, I'm not referring to DP. They do it right. I'm talking about pretty much everyone else. However, Paul is dumb to say that in this context because Dusty isn't saying otherwise. And as you'll see, DP continuously makes this bullshit straw man argument and then says Dusty's the one with the false dichotomy.
Yeah, I don't know what this false dichotomy is. I don't ignore the damage that the conservative Christian right does in this country and hyper focus only on, why can't we do both?
That's not true. Yeah, we do focus on that somewhat, but we cover politics, we cover a lot of shit. We don't just cover only SJWs.
Neither does TJ.
Yeah. You guys get so defensive and assume that you're included when people say that. Now, I obviously don't speak for Dusty, but as I said, I don't include DP in that. I might include TJ in that, though, since he's one of those people who perpetuated the false narrative that Trump is the lesser of two evils, and I think he'll eat his words over the next 4 years.
Any of the other people you're talking about.
I mean, like, even the big anti-SJW channels like Sargon and Chris Reagan and Shoe on Head and Blair White, like, all of those channels tackle, like, a wide variety of issues. Yeah.
Bullshit, TJ. Sargon and Blair are two great examples of big names who act like the left is the only real threat and Trump isn't that bad. What are you talking about?
There's some focus on the SJWs because guess what? They're fucking ridiculous and easily mockable and people really enjoy it.
And dangerous, too.
They are dangerous. I mean,
again, no one is saying SJWs aren't dangerous or a big deal. Stop strawmanning. But you're going to do it over and over again for the rest of this segment.
But you act like if Hillary Clinton was elected, she'd have been this great, oh my God, she's going to solve global warming with some fucking lame-ass, like a little fucking carbon tax. And,
which never would have passed, let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, like, this issue would not have been addressed by Hillary Clinton. She was a puppet for fucking Wall Street. Don't act like, I mean, Hillary Clinton would have fucking talked the talk, but she wasn't willing to walk the walk on climate change any more than fucking Trump.
First off, saying Trump is bad for climate change doesn't equate to Hillary being fucking amazing for it. This strawmanning style of arguing DP uses in this segment, where they claim people hold positions that they actually don't, is just sad. But besides that, do you guys really think Hillary would be worse on climate change? Do you really think she could do worse than putting oil company execs and climate change deniers on her cabinet?
Plus, old false dichotomy Dusty is back. So now, because global warming is a problem, we can't talk about free speech because...
There we go, more dishonest arguments and strawmans. Hey Paul, no one said you're not allowed to talk about free speech. Not even fucking close. I mean, goddamn, you should be ashamed of yourself for saying something so fucking stupid.
Look, I make my nut speaking. And SJWs want to control that. They want to censor that. They want to change the way that I interact with the people that watch me. That's important to me. That's just as important to me as global warming, which is going to kill the planet long after I'm fucking dead.
Again, no one is saying that it's not a problem. And I do want to give some props to Paul here for being able to care about both the SJW attack on free speech and the right's attack on science. Because Paul doesn't have this agenda like the people me and Dusty are talking about have. But the problem is, Paul keeps equating Dusty saying global warming is a bigger problem than SJWs to Dusty saying free speech isn't important. No one is fucking saying that.
I mean, isn't Dusty Bathrobe Smith king free speech? Isn't he the guy that's always whining about how he's getting kicked off?
Facebook banned me again, guys.
Why did they ban you, Dusty?
But it's not an issue to you.
What contingency of people on Facebook made sure you got banned every time? Was it the Christian right? I don't think so. I don't fucking think so. I think it was the loony left, dude.
To his policy.
Relevant? So, because SJWs are what keeps getting his Facebook taken down, that's supposed to make him some kind of hypocrite for saying that Trump and the dangerous people he's putting into power is a bigger deal than some dumb feminist on YouTube?
It depends on what ideas you're talking about. Because Dusty, if you're not allowed to really say what you want, Dusty, then you talking about this issue is gone. So saying free speech is not an important issue is ridiculous. This is just as important as global warming, because only if people can talk openly and honestly about climate change will anything ever be done about it.
Nice one, Scotty. Except he never fucking said, don't talk about free speech. Guys, this is getting fucking ridiculous.
Can I ask Ben a question? Ben, you're an opinionated guy. You know what you believe, right?
Yeah.
How many times have you had your mind changed in your life by somebody walking up to you and going, "Hey, man, you care too much about this. Care more about this."
Never.
No, I don't think anyone's ever had the experience.
Pretty much almost no one would be convinced by
my
that.
point in asking Ben that question is that's what Dusty's selling here. He's selling a world where you have to be more concerned about what he thinks you should be. Like what?
No, Paul. A bunch of pro-science, anti-religion skeptics were so focused on SJWs that they made Trump out to be no big deal, even though he's clearly going to push a pro-religion, anti-science agenda that goes against their own fucking best interests. That's the problem.
You know, if you want to go after the Christian right, who's fucking stopping you from doing that?
Oh,
Nobody.
shit.
Who's fucking stopping you?
He never said anyone is stopping him. He's calling out the community on its bullshit.
Hey, Dusty,
dangerous.
let me ask you a question,
Number
Dusty.
two.
What can you possibly do to stop Trump when Trump is president? As you said, one of the most powerful people in the world. Trump is president. There's a Republican Congress and there's a Republican Senate. What are you going to do to stop it? Dusty, you can bitch and moan all day long. They don't care.
Exactly, Scotty. That's why people wanted to prevent a Trump presidency and prevent Republicans from controlling the House and Senate and soon the Supreme Court. But the skeptic community went full retard and said, you know, Trump isn't that bad, and endorsed him for the most part. And now they control everything and want to enact legislation that none of us are going to like, and that would have never been passed if Hillary was elected instead.
I mean, this is a line out of the SJW playbook.
Why are you paying so much attention to this when rape culture is a thing?
Yeah.
Listen to Scotty. Yeah. How about no? That was a fucking terrible analogy.
Dude, Dusty, all I can do, and I've seen people do that. Look, obviously you're concerned about all this stuff. All I have to do is find issues that you're not talking about, Dusty. I can make the same argument to you. Dusty, why are you talking about this?
Why are you talking about all these people starving, Dusty?
Well, what about these people here, Dusty? Why are you talking about this situation?
I mean, yeah, you're talking about global warming, Dusty. There are people right now
it's genocide.
that need food. They need food right now and water right now. Why are you talking about global warming, which ain't going to kill the world for another 200 or 300, 400 years? There are people right now starving,
right
Dusty.
now, dying of disease, Dusty.
Woman is being raped right now somewhere, Dusty. Why aren't you talking about that?
Female genital mutilation.
Save her. Honor killings. Fucking fires and droughts and plagues. Why don't you talk about that, Dusty? Why are you wasting your time on this shit?
I think the law.
And this is where DP goes off the deep end. No, Dusty isn't saying, stop talking about that problem and start talking about this problem. He's saying, stop sweeping that problem under the rug and over-focusing on this problem. He's telling people to stop being disingenuous and dishonest and conforming to this fucking, oh, the left is the worst thing ever narrative and pretending the right isn't a big deal. That's the problem. The narrative right now is that the left is the fucking boogeyman, and so they pick every little fucking detail about it they could find to criticize, and they point it out and they magnify it and make a big deal about it, but then pretend the right isn't that bad and sweep problems under the rug and don't call them out for shit. That's the problem. So-called skeptics are being disingenuous cunts and conforming to their narrative and sticking to their narrative, and they're not being intellectually honest. That's the problem, drunken peasants. That's the fucking problem. So your response to Dusty is completely fucking retarded because you're not even acknowledging the problem and you strawman him the whole time. Good job. Get your fucking shit together.